Who, the Sontaran Stratagem, the 4th episode of Series 4, is written by Helen Rayner and starring David Tennant, Catherine Tate and Freema Agyeman. So yeah, we have the return of the Sontarans who last appeared in The Two Doctors, focusing on Unit and Martha Jones, who last appeared in Doctor Who Last of the Time Lords, while then appeared in 3 episodes of Torchwood Series 2. In terms of returning the old monsters, Russell T Davies said the Sontarans are always on his list, and they chose to set it on Earth in present day because all Sontarans except the Invasion of Time are set on Earth, which is fair enough if you ask me. So the story begins with, at the Ratigan Academy, a journalist gets thrown out while investigating because apparently a sat-nav in a car called Atmos is dangerous. Luke Ratigan couldn't care less and allowed Joe, a journalist, to leave. So after that he communicates with General Stahl to recommend killing her. As a result, the Atmos sat-nav is playing up the car and drove Joe straight down to the river. Russell T Davies couldn't resist adding an evil sat-nav and thought it's much more engageable and very Doctor Who. Meanwhile, the Doctor is teaching Donna how to fly a TARDIS, which is nice, but he then gets a phone call and it was Martha. And I think it's great that they bring her back in the next series. So Martha waits in the alleyway, the TARDIS appears and the Doctor reunites with Martha, introducing her and Donna and telling them not to fight, and apparently engaged with Tom Milligan. Martha leaving allows Russell T Davies to change the character's personality from falling in love with the Doctor to mature and equal, having her reaction to meeting Donna different to Rose and Sarah Jane in the school reunion. I enjoy the joke Donna has with Martha about the Doctor, and he's like, "Oh, I'd rather you were fighting." So after Martha speaks to Walkie Talkie and we see Unit in the Atmos factory, seemingly arrested the workers. Apparently the name United Nations Intelligence Task Force has been changed to Unified Intelligence Task Force because it's a request of the United Nations who refer the political climate and potential brand confusion. As reasons for association, the new acronym was coined by Davies after several meetings among the scriptwriters. So they go inside the mobile HQ and meet Colonel Mace, played by Rupert Holiday Evans, and I think he's great. I love it when the Doctor mentions that he worked for them back in the 70s, John Pertwee's era. When the Doctor wasn't sure if it was 1970s or 80s, the episode refers to inconsistencies in dating unit stories. We learned that there's people in a car with Atmos sat-nav have died, which is poison gas. Atmos stands for Atmospheric Emission System. We first see Atmos logo in Partners in Crime. I love the moment when Martha said we needed an expert and the Doctor was like, "Oh, who did you bring?" but then realised it was him. The dumbest expert, I'd say. So meanwhile, 2 unit soldiers, Gray and Harris, searching around in the corridor and they find 2 workers guarding the door, but Stahl ordered to let them in. Those 2 are written as alien fodder. I really like this unit duo. Shame they got hypnotised and killed off. So in the laboratory, they find a lidded bath and there's bang coming from the inside. So they opened it and it's full of green liquid. And I was really freaked out when a naked body rose up. The look on the face, it's really creepy. We find out it's not really alive. It breathes through the embryo as they're growing a human body. So General Stahl appears. I love the bit where Harris is making fun of Stahl's height, saying that we haven't got out of school early. After Stahl stung Harris, he orders Gray to shoot, but the guns haven't worked because the room they're in is contained within a Cardellane signal that exercises the copper surface of the bullet, causes expansion in the barrel, rendering their guns useless as well as blocking their radio signals. So Gray is about to batter Stahl with his gun, but Stahl stung him as well. So then the Stahl took his helmet off. So while the Doctor and Martha are looking at one thing, Donna has been looking through attendance file that there's not a single one has been off sick. So Mace ordered Martha to examine one of them. The Doctor finds out that the Atmos is created by Luke Ratigan. Luke attended primary school between 1990 and 1992. When he was 10, he was already developing professional level software, and then when he was 12 he invented the Foundation 6 search engine, which made him a millionaire almost overnight. In his later teens, feeling anthropic and unappreciated by society, he works with the Sontarans to develop the Atmos car device which effectively eliminated all CO2 emissions of a car. So the Doctor and Donna got into a jeep with Ross. While Private Grey and Harris are hypnotised, Martha listens to one of the workers' heartbeat, who seems emotionless and doesn't blink. He works 24 hours a day, bloody hell. So Martha is looking for Mace. No, not that Mace. There we go. So the unit soldiers takes Martha somewhere. Donna gets dropped off at home. She reunites with Wilfred Mott, and he advised her not to tell her mum. And there's Sylvia going on about something that sounds like soap opera, including Wilf sneaking into a shop and buy pork pies. And Sylvia's like, don't deny it, I saw the wrappers in the car. Oh, I don't miss the trick. Oh man. So the Doctor and Ross meets Luke, who's played by Ryan Sampson, and I think he did well. I also love the character Ross Jenkins. Shame they killed him off as well in the next episode. I think Christian Cook did a fantastic job. So the Doctor looks around the academy with students wearing red hoodies and track suits and looking at cool looking science lab. He also noticed that Luke couldn't have created the equipment on his own, and he noticed a tunnel shaped sculpture as a teleport pod, and he ends up on a Sontaran spaceship. And there's a funny moment in this scene, like, how did I get in there? In through the window, bye, and teleports back. Stahl calling himself General Stahl of the 10th Sontaran Fleet. Stahl the undefeated. The Doctor was like, what's it going to be after he's defeated? Stahl they're not quite so undefeated anymore, but never mind. That's funny. And also Ross saying that he looks like talking baked potato, and the Doctor saying you look like a pink weasel to him. I just love the Doctor just making fun of Sontaran, it's entertaining. Christopher Ryan is great as General Stahl. So the Doctor bounces a tennis ball at the wall and it hits Stahl's probic vent and made a run for it. Probic vent at the back of Sontaran's neck is their weakness. Depending how hard you hit it, it can stun them or kill them. Stahl fixed the teleports, then him and Luke went to the Sontaran ship, and we introduced Commander Scar, the Bloodbringer, played by Dan Starkey, who later plays Strax in Moffat era. I think he's brilliant. Meanwhile, the Doctor and Ross in the Jeep. The Atmos is controlling it, so the Doctor found a clever way of ordering it doing the other way. So him and Ross got out the Jeep and took cover and thought it was going to explode, but it was just a couple of tiny sparks. Apparently the government refuses to remove Atmos until the system has proven dangerous. Thanks, government. Originally there was going to be a huge explosion, but Helen Raynaud changed it to several sparks to reduce costs and to lampoon an action movie cliche. While Stahl thinks the Doctor is dead, the Doctor arrived in Chiswick at Donna's house, looking at Sylvia's car. I love the reunion moment with the Doctor and Wilfred as they've met in Voyage of the Damned. Wilfred realises the Doctor is an alien, so they properly introduced each other. Later, Sylvia isn't happy to see the Doctor again because of the aborted wedding from the runaway bride, while Wilfred was having a Spanish flu. This episode is like Aliens of London and the Lazarus Experiment when they get the Doctor to meet the parents. Which is nice, and I think it's about time we have a family trusting the Doctor, such as Wilfred Mott. As David Tennant said, a long line of mothers that don't quite get the Doctor. Meanwhile, Martha is strapped up to the trolley near the bath full of green liquid. Score appears, and I was expecting to see that freaky face naked body again, but it turns out we have naked clone Martha. So they force the real Martha to sleep while the clone one is in the factory with two hypnotised unit soldiers. I love the line where Sylvia's like, what sort of Doctor blows up cars? It's amusing. So after the Doctor phoned cloned Martha to let the unit know about the Sontarans, she hangs up and tells Colonel Mesa everything's fine. So the Doctor finds out that the gas is poisonous. Wilfred tries to move the car out, but Stahl ordered it to converters to be activated, and everyone deadlocks, so Wilfred is locked in, and they can't get him out. It's happening everywhere, even Unit is shooting at their jeeps. So the Doctor looks as the gas is spraying everywhere with car alarms setting off, with Sontarans and Luke going Sontaha. So they're planning an invasion, which leads to cliffhanger. Man, what an episode. I really enjoyed this one. What did you guys think of the Sontaran Stratagem? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, thanks for watching. In next episode, retrospective coming, The Poison Sky.